First pictures of damage done by U.S. cruise missiles in Iraq. Iraqis lash out at President Bush. He orders another attack. As President-elect Clinton prepares to take office, public confidence in him appears to be growing. And horror at the scene of a deadly commuter train collision in the Midwest. This is the CBS Evening News. From Washington, D.C., site of the 52nd presidential inaugural, Dan Rather reporting. Good evening. In less than 48 hours, right back there at the Capitol, Bill Clinton will assume the presidency of the United States. Until then, the full power of that office remains with George Bush, and he used that power today to launch another attack on Iraq. Our coverage of this extraordinary week begins with National Security Correspondent David Martin at the Defense Department.
With no sign of give on either side, Air Force jets returned to their bases in Saudi Arabia after a high noon raid on air defense sites in southern Iraq.
What we were attacking was the enemy's ground radars that allow them to see our airplanes in the sky. We're trying to take his ears and his eyes out.
Today's strike was a repeat of last Wednesday's raid. Some of the targets that were missed then were struck again. It was to have been a 75-plane strike, including planes from the carrier Kitty Hawk.
Everybody's ready to go. Everything's loaded up. We're ready to bomb.
But at the last minute, the Kitty Hawk was called off when the Iraqis moved the mobile missile batteries that were to have been the Navy's targets. Nevertheless, a senior military officer said today's destruction of fixed radar sites had essentially neutralized the Iraqi air defense network in southern Iraq. The U.S. Air Force also neutralized one Iraqi MiG when an F-15 fired 2 missiles at it. The Iraqi Air Force remains winless in its attempts to challenge American aircraft, but Saddam Hussein still has about 200 high-performance jets to play with. If Saddam wants to play, American pilots say they're ready for more.
Well, I feel like it's something that still needs to be done, and I was willing to go and do it, and I was glad that we could go and get the job done. Hopefully it'll be completed.
In the northern no-fly zone, 2 U.S. jets fired missiles at Iraqi air defense radars, and 2 others bombed an anti-aircraft artillery battery.
Let's just hope that the message has been delivered loud and clear.
In case the message has to get louder, the Pentagon moved the carrier Kennedy and its 90 planes toward the eastern Mediterranean, from where it could launch strikes through Turkish airspace or move through the Suez Canal to the Red Sea.
The Pentagon says it remains ready to strike again without warning, but first the Bush administration may have to deal with a diplomatic problem. The Russian government reportedly has delivered a note to the State Department warning the U.S. not to strike again without explicit approval from the UN Security Council.
David, this is news. What's the meaning of this Russian statement?
Well, you know, Saddam and his surrogates have been trying over and over again to say their battle is with George Bush, not the United Nations. And if his attempt here is to sort of drive a wedge into the coalition, this Russian note may mean he's making a little progress anyway.
David Martin, live at the Pentagon. Thanks. Saddam Hussein did comply with one UN demand today. Iraq removed 6 police posts on the border with Kuwait. But Saddam is still vowing to, as he puts it, fight for Iraq's sovereignty over its own land and airspace. Bob Simon has the latest from Baghdad.
The skies over Baghdad were bright with tracers again tonight. For 5 minutes, anti-aircraft gunners opened up from roofs all over the city. But it was a false alarm. No missiles, no planes, just expectation and anxiety. Saddam pledged again tonight to continue his defiance of the no-fly zones. He offered a reward of $500,000 dinars to any soldier who shoots down a missile. The Iraqis confirmed Allied airstrikes in the south and in the north today. They said 21 Iraqis were killed. But today's raids took second billing in Baghdad to the events of last night. And to Iraqis, that means one thing, the Al Rashid Hotel. Whether it was a ground-to-air missile or a malfunction that brought that tomahawk down in the courtyard, it could well be the unluckiest shot the Americans have taken. An Islamic conference was underway in the hotel. The lobbies were full of rage. Just let me near George Bush, I'll kill him. This from an Egyptian delegate. Damage was not confined to the lobby. This was the CBS News office on the 8th floor. At first light, the engineers were there, and the old Gulf War routine of clean up and reconstruct was underway. Then, For 2 young receptionists killed in the explosion, a state funeral befitting the most sacred martyrs of the nation. Whether or not the regime really believes the Americans deliberately targeted the hotel, that's how it broadcast the story. Baghdad lived a night of holy war, proclaimed the state-run radio. Hundreds of demonstrators, many of them delegates to the conference, followed the cortege. They brandished the Koran. They chanted that old refrain, "Bush, Bush, listen well, we all love Saddam Hussein." That song, which has another day and a half on the Iraqi hit parade. Journalists today were not permitted inside that plant near Baghdad, that plant which was the real target of the airstrike. The regime reiterated that it was a mechanical engineering facility which had been visited many times by UN inspectors. But the argument was presented almost as an aside, a parenthesis. For the government of Iraq, last night was the night of the Rashid, the night President Bush sent a missile into the heart of Islam. Bob Simon, CBS News, Baghdad.
U.S. defense officials say the Navy missiles fired at Iraq yesterday gutted a factory complex that made parts for Saddam's nuclear weapons program. Iraq flatly denies that it was a military target. Correspondent Jim Stewart has more from the Pentagon.
The Iraqis say that before the attack, what they made here were Volkswagens, but intelligence analysts have long suspected otherwise.
This site made components for what was called the Calyutron program. That was a program for enriching uranium up to nuclear weapon grade.
The Pentagon says a total of 45 ship-launched cruise missiles were aimed at the Zafarayina manufacturing complex in a suburb south of Baghdad. 37 of them hit dead on target, destroying all 5 main buildings. 3 landed in a fruit orchard next to the complex, 3 hit nearby. 1 blew up en route, officials say, and at least 1 crashed into the courtyard of the Al Rashid Hotel in Baghdad. But Zafarayina, the Pentagon says, is now out of business, and with it Saddam's immediate hopes of building an atomic bomb.
We bombed all the sites we knew about for a long time during the Gulf War. And after the war, we discovered that we missed an entire nuclear weapon production program because we didn't even know about it.
Roaming the city after the war, UN's weapons inspections teams discovered the plant and have since visited it 4 times, tagging some of its high-tech equipment for possible destruction even before Sunday's bombs arrived. But the problem with bombing is you don't always know if you destroyed everything you aimed at. That's what on-site inspections are for. And as of this moment, Baghdad still hasn't agreed unconditionally to let inspectors back in, just one of the many provocations that has led to this crisis. Jim Stewart, CBS News, the Pentagon.
More than 800 U.S. troops are coming home from Somalia tomorrow. Marines from Camp Pendleton, California, are the first to pull out. That will still leave about 25,000 U.S. troops in Somalia, and many may stay for quite a while longer. At one point, President Bush had hoped to have most of the Americans home before leaving office. There are signs the public may be warming up to the incoming president. We'll have that story when the CBS Evening News continues from Washington, so stay here with us.
If you've got an awful cold, you are about to experience the shape of things to come. Introducing Maximum Strength Dristan Cold Gel Caplets. A new Maximum Strength Dristan formula in a modern gel caplet with an easy-to-swallow coating. New Maximum Strength Dristan Cold Gel Caplets will relieve your sneezing, nasal congestion, body aches, and pain. New from the makers of Dristan, the face of relief today.
This is the new Civic Coupe from Honda. Maybe you'd like to take a second look.
Here in Washington and all over the country, this was the federal holiday in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. In Denver, today's events in memory of the slain civil rights leader turned ugly. Marchers honoring Dr. King tried to get out a few demonstrators who turned out for a Ku Klux Klan rally. Several people were injured. There were at least 16 Denver arrests. Here in Washington, President-elect Clinton paid tribute today to the dreams and deeds of Dr. King, but all the pre-inaugural events are competing for attention with developments in Iraq. Correspondent Susan Spencer is on the Clinton watch.
When Mr. Clinton arrived at Georgetown University, the pomp and circumstance of the presidency took center stage. Still, as he acknowledged, the problems are there, waiting in the wings.
The events of the last week remind us anew that this era will not lack for dangers.
Referring to Saddam Hussein's continuing provocations, he repeated his support for recent U.S. action.
He must understand that America's resolve during this transition period will not waver. The policy of this country will remain American policy after January 20th.
As the Iraq situation grows more tense, a new CBS News New York Times poll finds the public's confidence in Mr. Clinton to handle foreign policy is growing, with 49% saying now they feel confident. Only 27% did last fall. Overall, a whopping 70% said they're optimistic about the next 4 years. 57% thought Mr. Clinton will bring about the changes the country needs. By about 2-1 now, Americans hold a favorable opinion of their next president, perhaps because nearly 3/4 say he cares about people like them. At an emotional ceremony honoring Dr. Martin Luther King, Mr. Clinton pledged to work toward King's dream of equality.
I will try to follow the powerful example of Dr. King's conviction into these new responsibilities. For I know that God did not drop me from a mountaintop. I was born in the valley.
The Iraqi crisis serves as a brutal reminder of those responsibilities and of just how tough it may be for Mr. Clinton to keep his promise to concentrate on solving domestic problems. The promise, after all, that got him elected. Dan?
Thanks, Susan. Mr. Clinton is coming into a huge inheritance from his Uncle Sam. Unfortunately, Uncle Sam is deeply in debt. As Mr. Clinton takes office, the United States of America owes more than $4,184 billion. If every American kicked in equally to pay off this debt, your individual share would be $16,346. There was an awful train collision in the Midwest today. The story and the pictures are coming up here next on the CBS Evening News from Washington.
Gum disease? Not if I can help it. But my dentist says I'm at risk. So I'm going to fight it with this. The new Colgate Precision Toothbrush. See, it removes plaque better than the leading toothbrushes. Looks strange, huh? All these different bristles. But they do the job. They don't just brush your teeth. They reach between them and along the gums to get at plaque. When it comes to gum disease, I'm fighting to win.
Fighting gum disease takes precision.
A night for Excedrin PM.
My allowance stinks!
Your vacation?
Canceled.
I can't sleep and my head aches.
Excedrin PM. Headache medicine plus it helps you sleep. And rest assured it's aspirin-free.
Your oatmeal, sir.
Oh, the injustice of a low-fat breakfast. If only it could be more inviting.
Sir, from the lady.
Now it can. Introducing Philly Free. Rich, creamy, with the taste only Philly could give you. Yet it's fat-free. Now you can spread new Philly Free instead.
Hey, got a sweet spot. Hit it with a sweet shot. Wheat is honey gold.
That's the stuff.
Crispy corn, whole grain wheat. It's just fine, crunchy and sweet.
Go for it.
Wheat is honey gold.
Would you like a backstage pass to the inauguration? Here's your invitation. 48 Hours is saving the best seat in the House for you Wednesday.
It is a beautiful winter night here in Washington, clear and cool. A very different story in Southern California, where there's been so much rain the ground just couldn't hold anymore. So when a new storm hit the hillsides of Laguna Beach near Los Angeles, mudslides pushed expensive homes off from their foundations and into a 200-foot Laguna Beach ravine. It took hours to reach all the dead and injured in the twisted wreckage of 2 commuter trains that collided in the Midwest today. Linda Tyra has the story of blood on the tracks in Gary, Indiana.
I saw the other train as it was crashing into ours, and then I knew everything was flying all over the place.
There was panic, and people were just saying, get out, get out.
One passenger said the impact seemed to take place in slow motion as two commuter trains collided in Gary, Indiana. The lead cars on the trains, carrying about 100 people, were peeled open as metal ripped into metal.
The wall passed through each train, sort of like a big razor blade.
The trains did not derail, but came to rest high atop a hillside on a narrow bridge. The location and sub-freezing temperatures hampered rescuers as they brought out the dead and injured. At least 7 were killed and more than 50 injured. According to witnesses, one train heading west from Chicago, the other heading east from South Bend, Indiana, sideswiped one another on the approach to the bridge where the two tracks merge. Passengers on one train said their driver left his seat and suddenly ran towards them, diving just before the collision.
I thought, maybe he should have said something like get down or a scream or something, but he said nothing.
Investigators are not sure if human error or a mechanical problem may have been responsible for the crash, but rescuers are thankful for something. The accident happened on a holiday and after morning rush hour, timing, they say, that saved lives. Linda Tyra, CBS News, New York.
Coming up next, Clinton's Cinderellas and their free ride to the ball when the CBS Evening News continues from Washington.
A short while ago, Carol Walters was troubled with arthritis pain. But she promised Pete they'd go for their run. So she took a Motrin IB, the same medicine as in the Motrin doctors have prescribed for years, but in non-prescription strength. And just one Motrin IB works as well as 2 regular aspirin. So now Carol's ready.
Let's go, Pete.
Pete's been ready for a while. Motrin IB, the relief of Motrin in non-prescription strength.
When Ford refined the full-sized car, we made its shape more aerodynamic. Its V8 engine more powerful and yet more efficient. We also added to its comfort and even its safety with available anti-lock brakes and dual airbags. But through it all, one thing about the Ford Crown Victoria has remained the same. It's still as quiet as a Rolls-Royce.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
I found if you feed a lot of meat, and a good kind of meat like pedigree, you really get a nice shine to the coat.
John Woodring, top breeder of champion beagles.
A dog that's really fit, that's had really good nutrition, is definitely happier and makes a better pet. I only want my dogs to have the best food, and the best food we've found is pedigree and pedigree mealtime. I really like the pedigree meat mixed with the mealtime dry. I'd recommend pedigree to anybody who owns a dog, either a pet or a show dog.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
Washington gets ready for the Clinton inauguration and the passing of power. We'll take you to all the big events live tomorrow on CBS This Morning with Harry Smith and Paula Zahn.
Americans of all kinds from all walks of life are to be found here in the nation's capital this inaugural week. Some are here all expenses paid and are new to the Washington VIP scene. They are 50 Faces of Hope. Linda Douglas has some of their stories.
This is Bill Clinton's image of America. The reunion on the Mall is his tribute to diversity. For Wilma Palno, there is something patriotic about this American hodgepodge. It's for ordinary people, people like her.
Brings tears to my eyes.
Wilma Palno and Michael Curcio are part of a group of 50 Americans, each of whom impressed the Clintons and Gores during the campaign. They are called the Faces of Hope.
I'm a face of hope to you, honey. Big, I'm a face of hope too, honey, Jack.
Today, they were reunited with the president-elect. Like most here, Demetrius Stefanis met Mr. Clinton only once before. They talked about crime in the kitchen of the New York hotel where he works.
And I told him, today in America, special in the big cities, our children does not enjoy the same freedom like we did.
Have you thought about your own mortality?
In Worcester, Massachusetts, Michael Curcio, HIV positive, teaches about AIDS. He once pushed his way through a crowd to talk to Bill Clinton.
Immediately when I said I was HIV positive, my president wasn't afraid, first of all, to hold my hand, to give me compassion.
We brought cheese and biscuits and bread.
At her Little Rock shelter for the homeless, Wilma Paulno knew the Clintons, but she was stunned to be invited here, all expenses paid.
I really feel like a very plump Cinderella getting to go to the ball.
Like Cinderella, she got a gown for the ball. The fairy godmother, Bloomingdale's, outfitted the 50 and their guests from head to toe.
To meet with the president and have luncheon with the president, this is very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. God bless America.
As they make the stunning journey from obscurity to celebrity, the 50 each bring the new president a message.
I represent every little soup kitchen worker, every Union Rescue Mission worker, every Salvation Army shelter director.
I wrote, fight discrimination, not people with AIDS.
Wilma and Michael posted their messages alongside the messages of hundreds of others on a wish list for the future president. They hope President Clinton will heed these messages as candidate Clinton listened to them. Linda Douglas, CBS News, Washington.
There's an ingredient in Efferdent you may not expect. Antibacterial Efferdent, made with Arm & Hammer baking soda. Leaves dentures baking soda fresh and clean.
Put Velveeta in, leave the lookalikes out. Mix the salsa in, pop it in and pull it out.
Use some lookalike, who knows what may come out.
With Velveeta there's no doubt. Velveeta!
Velveeta cooks better.
Good news for people taking Cardizem.
I need a refill on my Cardizem.
You may want to see your doctor before your next refill, because there's another Cardizem available, Cardizem CD.
What's the difference?
Cardizem CD should save you money.
Can you give me Cardizem CD?
Only your doctor can change your prescription. Ask your doctor if Cardizem CD is right for you.
Cardizem CD. Thanks. I'll ask my doctor.
So, you really like that, huh?
Oh, yeah. It's great.
Things you never heard about a Bran cereal before.
It's Bran.
It's what?
It's Bran.
No, it isn't. Isn't Bran mushy? These flakes are crunchy.
Kellogg's Frosted Bran is different. It's lightly frosted and very crunchy, even in milk.
Hey, Mom, the cereal you got? That's really good.
Kellogg's Frosted Bran. It sure doesn't sound like bran.
So you like them.
After most meals and snacks, plaque pH can fall to levels where acid starts attacking teeth. These attacks can last up to 2 hours, increasing the risk of damage to your tooth enamel. That's when chewing can help. When you chew for 20 minutes, the chewing action produces and distributes more of your mouth's natural defense, saliva, which helps neutralize acid within minutes. So in addition to regular dental care, after eating, chew Wrigley's Extra Sugar-Free Gum, because chewing helps nature fight the acid attack.
It will be Bill Clinton's inauguration, but he will not have the final word. That honor, the president-elect has decided, should go not to a politician, but to a poet. She is Maya Angelou, and we listened to her words for tonight's Eye on America.
When I think about myself, I almost laugh myself to death. My life has been one great big joke. A dance was walked. A song was spoke. I laugh so hard, I almost choke when I think about myself.
She's a far cry from Robert Frost.
Today is for my cause.
It was 32 years ago when Frost read his poem at the inauguration of John F. Kennedy. Now it's Maya Angelou's turn.
I am excited, intoxicated, over the moon. At the honor, it is terrifying. I think, oh my Lord, now, having gotten the passion and the excitement, the exhilaration, I have to say a poem. I have to say something that is honest and to the heart.
What do you hope to accomplish with this particular poem?
I hope speak directly to the hearts and minds of my fellow Americans and say, look at us, look at us. If we can just catch the tide, we can change ourselves. We can really break into the 21st century with something quite splendid. We have it in us, Dan Rather. We have it in us to be splendid. And I know it. What do you feel?
Not only is she a poet, Maya Angelou is a professor of literature and philosophy, a prolific writer of prose, a songwriter, an actress, a playwright. Like the president-elect, Maya Angelou was raised in Arkansas.
How have you done what you have done? You had this horrendous experience of being raped at age 8, unwed mother as an early teenager. How have you accomplished all you have done? What's your secret?
From the time I was 8 until I was almost 13, I didn't speak. I had voice, but I became a volunteer mute.
This is because of this terrible experience?
Yes, of the rape. But my grandmother, who used to braid my hair, would sit me on the floor the way the old folks used to do. And she'd say, Sister, Mama don't care what these people say about you being an idiot or you being a moron. Mama don't care. Mama know when you and the good Lord get ready, Sister, you're going to be a preacher. So I used to sit there and think, poor ignorant Mama. I mean, what? I'll never speak. What is she talking about, preach? But she continued to tell me that. That's all right. You don't have to talk. When you and the good Lord get ready, you're going to say plenty. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise into a daybreak miraculously clear. I rise, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the hope and the dream of the slave. And so, there I go.
And so, here we go, for now anyway. That's part of our world tonight. Stay with this CBS station for continuing coverage of Presidential Inauguration Week and any late developments from Iraq. Dan Rather for the CBS Evening News. Reporting tonight from Washington. See you tomorrow. Good night.
Experience CBS News.
Here comes the inauguration. There'll be lots of ceremony and celebration.
Every administration is theater. This is the nature of public life in America, and this is the opening scene.
What's the real meaning behind all this symbolism? We'll tell you on Eye on America tomorrow on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
The people of CBS News.